Recording has started.
So last week, we left off solving equations. And we've solved some that look like this. Five times 7x minus 4 minus 3x equals, oh, I gotta get my numbers in here now. Three times 2x plus 9 plus 57. And you recall there was 3 steps in solving an equation. The first step is to combine on each side. So here we'll start on the left side. Nothing to do inside the parentheses, so we'll multiply by the 5. 5 times 7x is 35x. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. We still have that negative 3x there. Now there's still more we can combine over there. So let's keep combining. We've got 35x minus 3x is 32x, and we have the negative 20. That is all that we can combine on the left side. Let's go over to the right side. Nothing to do inside those parentheses, so we'll multiply by the 3. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 9 is 27, so positive 27. And we still have that positive 57 there. There's nothing to combine with the 6x, but we have 27 plus 57, which is 84. So now we have combined everything we can on each side. Step 2 is to make sure the variable is on only one side. Well, here the variable is on both sides, so we have to get rid of one of them. Usually we try to get rid of the smaller one, which is the 6x. It's positive, so we're going to subtract it. So I'll make that go away. But we have to subtract it from the other side of the equation as well. The only place we can take it from there is from the 32x. So 32x minus 6x is 26x. We still have the negative 20 there. Equals the 84. Now we've combined everything we can combine. We've made sure the variable is on only one side. Now we can solve. So we're going to add the 20. 26x equals 104. And divide by 26. X equals 4. Well, we could have fractions and decimals within our equations as well. We might have something that looks like this. 4.2x minus 8.4 equals 2.1. So here, It looks more complex because of the decimals, but it's really the same process we've been doing. There's nothing to combine on either side. The variable is already on one side, so we're going to go ahead and try to solve. X has been multiplied by 4.2, and then 8.4 was subtracted from it. So we're going to add 8.4. Gets rid of the minus 8.4. Leaving us with 4.2x on the left side. On the right side, 2.1 plus 8.4 is 10.5. And then we're going to divide by the 4.2. X equals 10.5 divided by 4.2 is 2.5. So I want you to try one in your notes. 5.8x plus 3.1 equals 17.6. Go ahead and solve that. We'll go over it in about a minute. So, first thing we want to do here is subtract 3.1. So 5.8x equals 17.6 minus 3.1 is 14.5. Then we're going to divide by 5.8. X equals
0.5.
What'd you get?
0.5.
0.5?
2.5.
Okay. That's what I was thinking is 2.5. Thanks. So it's 2.5 again. Guess I'm stuck in a little bit of a rut there. Well, we can have fractions within our equations as well. 3/4 x plus 2.5 equals 4 1/4. Again, it looks more complicated because of the fractions, but it's the exact same process as any other equation. We're going to subtract 2.5. So that's gone on the left side, leaving us with just 3/4 x. But now we do have to combine 4.5 minus, or 4 1/4 minus 2.5. Common denominator is going to be 4. 1/2 is 2/4. 1 minus 2 can't be done, so we're going to borrow from the 4. That'll be a 3, and this will be a 5. 5 minus 2 is 3/4. 3 minus 2 is 1, so it's 1 3/4. And then we have to divide by 3/4. Get x by itself. We have x equals. We have to do 1 3/4 divided by 3/4. First, we're going to turn the 1 3/4 into an improper fraction. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7/4. Then we're going to turn this into multiplying by the reciprocal. The first fraction stays the same. It's the second one that gets flipped over. So instead of dividing by 3/4, we're going to multiply by 4/3. We can cross cancel the 4s, both divide by 4 to give us 1 and 1. That's 7/3 or 2 1/3. I'm going to have you guys try one here. 3/8 x minus 5 1/4 equals 6 1/2. I'll give you a couple minutes, then we'll go over that one. So we're going to start off by adding 5 1/4. So we've got the 3/8 x on the left side. 6 1/2 plus 5 1/4 is 11 3/4. Then we're going to divide by 3/8. X equals 11 3/4 divided by 3/8. We have to turn the 11 3/4 into an improper fraction. 11 times 4 is 44, plus 3 is 47 fourths. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal, so we'll make that 8/3. The 4 and the 8 both divide by 4 to give us 2 and 1. 47 times 2 is 94. 1 times 3 is 3, which is 31 1/3. Now, there is another way we could have approached this problem. Numbers, make sure I get the numbers right. Because there are enough people that dislike working with fractions, they've come up with strategies to eliminate the fractions and avoid having to work with them. Unfortunately, it really requires you to work with the fractions more to get rid of them, but then once they're gone, you can work with just whole numbers. The way it's done is it works with a least common denominator. We have denominators in this problem of 8, 4, and 2, which means the least common denominator is actually going to be the 8. All of those can be turned into 8s if we want them to. But rather than turn everything into an 8, what we're going to do is we're just going to multiply the whole equation by 8, which means each piece is going to get multiplied by 8. So 8 times 3/8 x. Well, we'll make that 8 over 1. 3/8 x we write as 3x over 8. We can put the variable in the numerator if we want. Eight times 3/8, or 8 times 3x is 24x. 1 times 8 is 8. 24x divided by 8 is just 3x. 8 times a negative 5 1/4. So that's 8 over 1 times a negative 5 1/4. Well, the negative 5 1/4 has to be turned into an improper fraction. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21, so it's a negative 21 for us. 8 times negative 21 is a negative 168. 1 times 4 is 4. Negative 168 divided by 4 is negative 42. And then finally, we'll have 8 times 6 1/2. So again, that'll be 8 over 1 times 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13 over 2. 8 times 13 is, what, 104? 1 times 2 is 2. 104 over 2 is 52. And now we can go ahead and solve this equation. We have to add 42. So 3x equals 52 plus 42 is 94. Then we have to divide by 3. X equals 94 divided by 3 is 3.33, or sorry, 31.333333. Or, we treat it as a fraction, 94 over 3 reduces to 31 1/3. So we get the same answer there, by the way, as we did before, doing it with the fractions. Personally, I don't think the fractions are that tough to work with. I think you make less mistakes just working with the fractions than you do trying to multiply that out and get rid of all the fractions. However, we do run into some equations where we have no choice but to get rid of the fractions. For example, we might run into an equation like this. One minus 2 over x equals 14 over 3x minus 1/3. Of course, you'll see here, you'll notice that the variables are in those denominators. So we're trying to find those least common denominators. We have denominators of x, 3x, and 3. So for the numbers, we've got 1, 3, and 3. That's just going to be a 3. For the variable, we just take the highest power used of the variable, which is just x. So 3x is going to be our least common denominator. Because we cannot solve an equation with the variable in the denominator, in an equation like this, we do have to use that least common denominator to multiply this out and get the variables out of the denominator. So we're going to multiply by 3x. Well, 3x times 1 is just 3x. 3x times negative 2 over x. We'll make that 3x over 1 times negative 2 over x. 3x times negative 2 is negative 6x. 1 times x is x. Negative 6x divided by x is negative 6. Three x times 14 over 3x. So 3x over 1 times 14 over 3x. 3x times 14 is 42x. 1 times 3x is 3x. Well, 42x divided by 3x is just 14. And finally, we have 3x times negative 1/3. 3x over 1 times negative 1 over 3. Notice, by the way, that when it's a negative in front of the fraction, I put the negative with the numerator. So 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. 1 times 3 is 3. Well, negative 3x over 3 is a negative x. And now I can solve this equation. First of all, there's nothing more to combine on either side. But the variable is on both sides, so I have to get rid of 1. Well, the negative x is the smaller one, so I'm going to get rid of that. It's negative, so to get rid of it, I'm going to add 1x. So 3x plus x is 4x. So the negative 6 equals 14. Now it's in a form where we can solve. We're going to add 6. 4x equals 20. And divide by 4. X equals 5. Well, I think that's about as far as my voice is going to hold out for the day. So on Blackboard, there is a worksheet. I believe it's listed as page 258, yes. That has equations with decimals and fractions in it. Feel free to use whatever method works well for you if you want to get rid of the fractions or work with them. Just a reminder, tomorrow, that November 4th, I have appointments, so there will be no math class tomorrow. I will stay on the network here for a while if you guys want to start working on those. And I'll be here for questions. Otherwise,